Truth now is dead, and you see that in the rewriting of our history, of world history, you know, to make it more acceptable for racial reasons. And now Netflix is being attacked by Egyptian lawyers and archaeologists and activists for its new film about Cleopatra, the Egyptian queen, who was actually from a dynasty founded by one of the Macedonian generals of Alexander the Great. But in this documentary becomes, for some bizarre reason, African instead. And one of the film's experts even insists, no, Cleopatra wasn't Greek, she wasn't Macedonian.
I don't care what they tell you in school, Cleopatra was black.
And which is strange, of course, because Cleopatra is a Greek name. Her alleged mother had the same Greek name. Her coins during her reign show, I've got to say, a kind of Greek profile. Maybe it's in the nose. A bust carved of her at the time looks Greek or Macedonian, although she may have also had some Persian ancestry. That seems maybe in the bloodlines. And this cameo in the Museum of London, thought to be of her, even suggests she had red hair. And yet the actress playing Cleopatra, Adele James, says, if you don't like the casting, don't watch the show. Or engage in expert opinion, different to yours, seriously. Joining me is the panel, Sky News presenter James McPherson of The Late Debate, here on Sky at 10 p.m. And Sky News contributor Daisy Cousens, fresh from her honeymoon and also with her own YouTube channel. Daisy, Netflix insists Cleopatra was black. Does it matter?
Well, yes, it absolutely does matter, Andrew, for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, obviously it matters because truth matters, funnily enough, and historical accuracy matters. And we know that this is not historical accuracy. Cleopatra was Greek Macedonian. She wasn't black. I mean, that's blatantly obvious. The second reason it matters is because we can see here in the entertainment context the difference between colorblind casting, which has been around for decades, and it's when, of course, a non-white actor is cast in a white role because they're meritorious enough and charismatic enough, and so therefore the casting is justifiable, and tokenistic casting, which is patronising and also racist. A good example of colourblind casting is Dev Patel. He's British actor of Indian descent, was recently cast to play a fictional character, David Copperfield, in a recent Netflix adaptation. And of course he was cast because although he has brown skin, he's a wonderful actor, super charismatic, all the qualities that role requires. Of course they were going to cast him, and from what I saw, it was very well reviewed. You want tokenistic casting, go to Netflix again, and you'll see Jodie Turner-Smith, who was cast, she's black, cast a couple of years ago as none other than Anne Boleyn, a real-life character who was most certainly not black. We know she was the wife of King Henry VIII. It tanked terribly, and Rotten Tomatoes has it rated at all of 6% from the audience score. This casting of Cleopatra is beyond tokenistic. This is wishful thinking casting. It is racist, it is patronising, and it is so discrediting Netflix even more than it already is.
I'm going to disagree with you on the casting of Mr. Patel in David Copperfield. I'm a huge Dickens buff, and I think that's cultural appropriation that ruins some of the logic of the show. That's just me. But James, does it matter that Cleopatra was not black, but Netflix is making a history sort of show that says she was? What's driving that?
Well, and as you say, that's the problem. The problem is not a black actor who's a brilliant actress playing a role. The problem is Netflix are portraying this as some sort of correction of history, which everybody knows is an absolute falsehood. I think the real issue here is the narcissism of our culture, which says, I can only see the world through my eyes. And a great clue to that was Will Smith's wife, who of course is African-American. She said, we don't often get to see stories about African queens. Well, what they've done is they've invented one, and so it does a disservice not just to viewers but to historians.
Yeah, it's just all these people who see, because when it's on TV, you know, a whole generation thinks what they've seen on TV, that's the truth. When in fact the real truth here is so fascinating. A Macedonian family ruling ancient Egypt. Don't you think that's interesting?